So ready for Thanksgiving and a 28-pound turkey. So this Thanksgiving, we decided to get a 28-pound turkey because we have almost 25 people, I think, coming to our Thanksgiving. And I've already taken it out of the package because there's tons of videos on that. But basically what we did was we bought this 28-pound turkey. We started defrosting it about 7 days ago, and I've opened it up and cleaned it out with lemon and paper towels, and I've pulled out the neck, the gizzards, the heart, and whatever else is in that package. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to pump it full of stuffing, and then I will continue to show you guys how we cook it over the next 6 hours or so for a 28-pound turkey. Anyway, this thing comes out delicious, and typically I stuff it with the Pepperidge Farm Herb Season Classic Stuffing. And because it's so big and the biggest turkey we've ever cooked, it's going to take 3 packages of the stuffing. So we got this big box from Costco this year, and we'll show you how to make it real quick. So we're going to follow the directions actually and do this. We're going to actually use the butter, onion, and celery and chicken broth. So we're working on putting that all together right now. So for 3 bags of the stuffing, it actually takes 3 cups of chopped onion. We'll put that in there. And the final vegetable for the stuffing is the 3 cups of chopped celery, which again, we're just following the directions. Alright, so here is the chopped celery and onions, and I know the recipe calls for half a stick of butter per bag, but our family recipe has always been a whole stick of butter per bag. It just makes the stuffing more gooey and tasty and savory. So I know it's not the best for you, but it's Thanksgiving. So go ahead and add another one. Yum. And in our recipe, so I know we said we use a stick per bag, but we also use the Land O'Lakes unsalted butter. For some reason, it just makes it taste better. Okay, I've been sauteing the butter, onion, and celery for like 30 minutes to make it real soft and tender. And so now we're getting ready to add our chicken broth, in which we'll bring to a boil before we add the breadcrumbs. So this is what it looks like when you should transition to that point. So the next step would be to bring the chicken broth to a boil, and it's taken about, 5 to 10 minutes to get that ready. And the next thing to do is take it off and then start adding our bags of seasoning. So that'll be the next step. And then that should wrap it up, other than a couple little final touches. And like I said, we're using 3 bags this time for this massive 28-pound turkey. Okay, I've been folding in the breadcrumbs and the liquid mixture of celery and onions and butter, and I've been doing it for a while now as things cool down, and this is how I usually tell when it's done. When a consistency like that, it sticks to the spoon. That's when you know you got it just about right. So my final step is to let it cool down, and then I'll crack 1 egg per bag and add it in as it cools down. So I'll put 3 eggs in for this since we are using 3 bags of stuffing. And then that'll be it. I'll put it in the bird and we'll be ready for Thanksgiving. All right, so I'm stuffing the turkey now, and I'm putting it up here in the front, and it looks like it's gonna take the full 3 packages of Pepperidge Farm stuffing, and I cram it up into the cavity here, and then also I put it back here, and you lift it in and push it into the skin right here, and it should make a nice little lump like that. And believe it or not, it actually takes quite a bit right up there in the cavity of the turkey, and as you can see, it fills up pretty nicely and it catches the juices, and actually that's my favorite area of the stuffing because it just tastes really good. And that's basically about what it looks like before I get ready to put it in the oven, and I'll put these legs up underneath it, and then I'll put olive oil and different seasoning on it here in the morning before I get ready to cook it, but I'll record that in about 12 hours. Well, finally it is Thanksgiving morning, and I'm getting ready to finalize the coating for the turkey before I put it in the oven, and I plan on cooking it for about 6 hours. So before I do that, I set the oven at 350, and I'm going to cover the turkey with cold pressed olive oil, salt and pepper, and McCormick's poultry seasoning. I just rub it up with all that oil coated, and I'm going to put it in the oven at 350 for about 30 minutes. Then I'm going to lower it to 325. Then I'm going to cover it in tin foil, and then I'll start my basting process with butter, and I'll do that every hour, which I will video and show as we go through that process. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and coat it with olive oil and the salt, pepper, and poultry seasoning now, and then I'm going to pop it in the oven. For the gravy, I use the neck, the heart, and the gizzards that I pulled out of the cavity of the turkey. And I put it in a little chicken broth, a little poultry seasoning, and I let it simmer as I cook the turkey. And I'll add some of the bastings to this as the day goes on. And I'll show you how to make the gravy with the Gravy Master and some cornstarch as we get toward the end of the cooking process. But it ends up turning into a great gravy, and I'll show you how to do that as well. So the first 30 minutes is up, where I was baking it at 350. And so I'm going to turn the oven down to 325. Before that, I'm going to baste the turkey with Land O'Lakes butter. And baste it with Land O'Lakes butter, and then I'll turn it down to 325 and continue this process for the next hour, or every hour on the hour. Now that I've covered it with butter, I also put a tinfoil covering on it and turn the oven down to 325. And now I will just cover it with butter every hour and check on it. And that's it until it's done. When it gets to 165 degrees in the center of the stuffing. All right, we're about an hour and a half in and we're gonna baste again with butter. That's what the turkey looks like. Actually, it's about 2 hours in. All right, here we are at hour 3. Time to rub down with butter again. Looking good. For the gravy, I let it simmer for a little while with the neck, heart, and gizzards, and it turns into a broth. Then I pull it out in about, I don't know, 20-30 minutes after it sits there and simmers for a while. And then I'll add drippings from the turkey as I start basting it every hour on the hour.
Not too hot. Yeah. Between them and very nice. Yeah, about halfway. And then you're gonna do a final.
Do a what?
Well, see, we're putting this in at the end, so, but he got all the other stuff out, which was good. He's got a little too much brown in there. I guess I'm gonna need to get a spoon to taste it. See what he's got going on.
You want a spoon to taste it?
Yeah.
Okay, we're on hour 4, and this is what the turkey looks like. And again, I rub it down with as much butter as I can. And it's really starting to look good.
Look at the juiciness of that man.
It's gonna be delicious.
I call the leg. I call the leg.
I'll put some butter on there for you.
Yay.
Obviously, you turn it off. All right, we're now on our 5th hour of cooking, and it's about 140 degrees in the center of the stuffing now. I'm gonna go ahead and butter again, and you can see it's really turning out to be a nice golden brown. I think this is gonna taste really good when we get done. It looks like it'll be ready at right about 6 hours, like Butterball said. We are now at hour 6. You can see the turkey is almost done, but we still are at like 160 degrees, so I'm gonna go ahead and butter it again. But look how golden brown it's getting. We'll let it go a little while longer because we need to get to 165. All right, it's been about 6 hours and 15 minutes. This is the final product. 28-pound turkey done Nick Meladeo style. Looks good. I know they're gonna enjoy it.